Hello and welcome to Jesus for Asia Now. I'm Natalie Wood and I have my husband John here with me on the show.
Hi, darling.
Hello, love.
Good to see you.
You know, over half of the world lives in Asia.
Yep.
And there are a lot of people over there that don't know Jesus.
Yes.
So today we want to talk about a very special project with a special missionary family that God is using in mighty ways, even though they're just ordinary people. And that project is GoBeDo Missions, and we're talking about Mike and Michelle Cordes.
Yes.
This is a picture of Mike and Michelle.
Yeah, and they're working in the Philippines, in the South Philippines. Now, in Asia, the Adventist Church's highest concentration of membership is in the Philippines. There's like 7,000 islands, and there's still some pockets of people that have not had any access to the gospel, and that no one's actually yet entering in. And this family is working among one of those groups.
So we met Mike and Michelle because Mike went to the same church as we went to.
In Idaho.
In Idaho. And then he came to Faith Camp 2008.
Before they were married.
Right. And at Faith Camp 2008, the theme there was Claim Your Inheritance.
That's right. And of course, inheritance is coming from Isaiah 54:3, where it says, "Thy seed shall inherit the Gentiles."
Right, so the people. The
people, yes. So we think of our inheritance as the physical inheritance, the heaven. But Jesus left the physical part to come and claim what he considered the true riches, which is people. And so the two things happen, though, is when we claim our inheritance, when we take the gospel to the world, then the end shall come.
So Mike and Michelle actually met on the internet on an Adventist kind of a singles area, and they got to know each other and ended up getting married.
Yep.
And then they went back to the Philippines to work together.
Yeah, she was
from the Philippines. Which is what GoBeDo Missions is, right? She's from the Philippines.
When he was going over to date her, to get to know her a little bit, he fell in love with the people up in the mountains. Just had such a heart for them getting access to the gospel. And such a growth process in his life, he saw that this is something he really wanted to do for the rest of his life.
And GoBeDo, what does that mean? It's like one word, we say it as one word, but it's actually three words.
Go, obviously, is Christ calls us to go. And be isn't just preach the gospel, but be the gospel. You know, you may be the only Christian a person sees. You may be the only Christ someone ever sees. And then do is be the hands and feet of Jesus.
Do the work.
The going, the being, and the doing. Christ in and through everything in all phases of that.
That's a neat name.
That's a really cool name. It's very practical, very, it's the call.
Right, right. Their mission statement all in one word.
Yes.
Okay, so this is a picture of their family up in the mountains. They have 2 girls and a boy.
Yeah. And they have a motorcycle.
And we've got some video of that. So we do have a lot of pictures and video to go through. So
we got to keep moving.
We got to keep moving.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a picture
of the mountainous areas that they live in, they work in. This isn't exactly where they live, but you can see the beautiful mountains. It's very lush jungle with big steep mountains and a lot of challenging terrain that would be really exciting for somebody that likes off-roading like me.
Right, right. And the next thing we have is a video from Mike talking about where they work.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and play that now.
Awesome.
The area that we're working in is mountainous. I would say it would be the areas that would be considered 3,500 feet and above in the mountains of Mindanao, mostly in the provinces of Agusan, Bukidnon, Misamis Oriental. And in these mountains, civil war has been raging for about 50 years between communist rebel insurgents and the government. But in the mountains is also many bandito groups. They're lawless, criminal type people. And then the tribal people that are caught in the middle of all this. And they became our mission, the tribal people. They have been much prejudice against them in the years. The coastal people have always regarded them as lazy and dirty and poor and uneducated, and they are all of the above. And but I'm certain that God came and died for them too.
Wow.
Yeah, so God came and died for them too.
The least of these, all those things not attractive kind of people to the visual eye, to the human eye.
Right.
But Christ assigns a value to each one of those as
Yeah,
well.
what a lesson for us too.
Yeah, the least of these, my brethren.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, so this is a picture of the house that
Mhm.
they've built at their mission post.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the house under construction.
Uh-huh. No, what's interesting is you can see over the top of the wall, the roof there, the roof comes down, there's that little gap between the top of the wall and the roof.
Yeah.
They were given money to finish that off and to seal that, but there was a greater need in their mission work. Somebody needed it more. And so even today, even though the house is mostly finished, there's still that gap there, and the wind comes howling up over that gap, and they didn't have enough money to put cement down inside the bricks, so it actually makes a howling noise as the wind comes. It must be a very cold and cold sound, and kind of haunting or eerie sound, having the wind make the whistling noise sound through the. And so that's one of my prayers, is that we can somehow help them get that.
Finish the house.
Yeah.
And here's the kitchen while it's under construction. They have shared with us that their weather is a little bit challenging because their weather temperature ranges from 50 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit,
yes,
sometimes as high as 85, but it's 98% humidity and it rains all the time. So they have a very hard time with clothes drying.
Yeah.
And you actually asked him, would you like a dryer? And he says, well, if we can get one with an inverter and get it up into the mountains. They do have power up there now, but they would have to have an inverter or a regulator of some kind because the power fluctuates.
I think he'd really like a washing machine.
Yeah, I think they need both, because he said that sometimes the clothes will take a week to dry.
Yes.
Because they hang them out to dry. They try to hang them under the roof so that they can dry, but then the rain comes in that way, and then so they're not drying, so they move them to a different place. So they're moving the clothes around trying to get them to dry, and some of them have taken up to a week to actually dry. And so it's a challenge, and that takes a lot of time, moving all the clothes on a clothesline around and around underneath.
At least get a washing machine, then it has a spin cycle and it spins it out, and they dry much faster.
That's
because
true.
right now they're doing everything by hand, so it takes a lot of time out of their daily schedule, and then you don't get as much water out, so it takes longer to dry.
Right.
So starting with a washing machine would be wonderful. Now, comparing that house to the house that they left in America to go to, this is the house that they were at. It was on 45 acres. They were renting this house from former missionary family, and it has an amazing view out the front window. You can see for miles, and it's a beautiful place. And they left this place to go and work among the unreached.
Right.
So.
But God is rewarding them. He's got some stories a little bit later, but first let's keep going. We have a little video of your favorite plants.
My favorite plant. I love this plant. It scared me the first time I saw it, because I was walking through the grass and I saw some movement behind me. I'm like, whoa, it's a snake? But check out what it does.
The name of this flower is Touch Me Not.
Touch Me Not.
Yeah, that is so cool. I love
If you
those
touch
plants.
the flower, it closes its leaves.
Isn't that cool?
It is. It's
I
a
love
fun
that
plant.
I love to touch it every
And
time
it's
I
fun
see
that
it.
it opens back up again, and then you can do it all over again.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and I did it so much one trip, one of our friends said, John, stop teasing the plants.
Yeah. You're always teasing something.
Yeah.
So the next shot we have is of some kids playing, and their life is very simple there. So here they have, I don't know if it's cardboard or pieces of metal or wood, what they have, but here's some kids playing.
Yep. Woohoo! Looks like fun. Yeah, so I might go join them.
Yeah. So it's not all fun though.
Yeah.
They've had some serious times, and this next video is of Mike talking about when they were taken hostage.
A couple years ago, we were taken hostage by communist rebels, and we were coming down the road, and there were Philippine Army soldiers on the road, or what we thought were Philippine Army soldiers. They were wearing the official uniform of the Philippine Army with M16s in their hands and 45 ACP pistols on their sides. And they told us to pull over, and they took us in the jungle. And then to our surprise, there was 300 other people in the jungle, and they were wearing black uniforms that said NPAs on them, New People's Army. That's the insurgents, what they call themselves. And of course, my wife has memorized Psalms 91, and so she was quoting Psalms 91 while they were taking us in the jungle. And after 3 hours, we were let go, given the rules of the mountains and their philosophy. They were there to ambush the mayor. They wanted to kill the mayor from the city below. They had heard she was coming up. We're in the wrong place at the wrong time. 3 days later, they did another ambush close by, and they were able to catch her and her bodyguards. The bodyguards were killed, and she was put in the hospital for quite a while. She did survive.
Wow. So you are dealing with danger face to face.
Yeah, on a daily basis. This year alone, airplanes were fighting over our mission post. Artillery was being shot over the houses where we live from the village below, and 80 young people were killed in the river behind us.
80.
Wow.
80 young people.
Wow.
So it makes him feel even more urgency
yeah.
to share the gospel with these people, even though it's been dangerous. I mean, they were taken hostage. He's had his wallet stolen, different things like that. But everything that happens gives him more of a sense of urgency for the eternal lives of these people.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's not an easy thing. The house that they were building, they've had to build everything by hand, you know. And that's some of the next shots we have. But it's not an easy place.
Yeah.
It's not a safe place.
What would cause somebody to do something like that when they could have a comfortable life back home? Why would they go out and do this kind of thing?
Because of that burden for souls. Because when you claim your inheritance, you're taking personally these people that you're claiming, and that's what Mike has done, and Michelle.
Right.
So it's beautiful to see that dedication and that devotion to the Lord, and how He lifts them up in spite of all the challenges they've gone through.
What's cool is that as Mike has gotten into this ministry, I've seen his spiritual life grow. And it's a wonderful family to hang out with, sweet family. And I think that's because of their hearts, their willingness to give for others. And we think that would be a really suffering position to be in. But the truth is, that's where heaven is. That's where true joy is. True joy is when you are entering into the suffering and care of humanity through Jesus Christ.
Right.
Because that's what Jesus did, and he was looking for joy when he came to the cross.
Right.
You know, he says
for the joy set before him.
Exactly. It's exciting.
Right.
It's awesome.
So let's continue looking at some of the pictures and video. I think the next one is of Michelle making bricks
for their
blocks.
house. Yes, this is how they build their house. You don't just call the local home building supply and order up a bunch of blocks. They make it themselves.
Right, they made the cement and they made the block. And here's a video of them making the driveway.
Yes.
Again, Michelle is out there working.
I wonder why Mike isn't in there doing it.
I think he's running the camera.
That's probably it. You can see how painstakingly laborious working there is and building what they have.
Right, and you could hear the wind actually blowing in that video on the microphone also.
And that's the wind that would make the noise in the house, the howling sound.
Right, so this next video is of them working in their garden, because that was one of the first things they did. Because they have workers working with them, Bible workers and other workers, different kinds of missionaries, and they wanted to be able to grow food to supplement what they could afford to buy.
Right. The training that they're doing is Bible as well as practical. And they're trying to give them different opportunities, different ways to support themselves and to feed their families. So they're teaching them different crops, trying to find crops that will grow with all the bugs and everything in that location. But they're doing a really an amazing job. And their tractor, they've got 2 types of tractors. And one of them is Babe. This ox isn't blue, but they named her Babe. And she's actually one of the family's pets. They love Babe, and she's a real sweetheart, very patient and loving and sweet and kind, according to Mike.
Okay.
Love you, kid.
They're heading out on an adventure today, this day. They're heading out to see some of their Bible workers and see some of the projects up in the mountains, because this is the mission station where their house is and where they do the planting and everything. And that's the training place. But the real work is out in the mountains.
Bye, Dad.
I love you.
Love you, Mom. Can I give you a kiss?
And they've got several
their Bible
Bible workers, yeah, different Bible workers in different locations, and they're living in the villages, doing the preaching, doing the Bible study, doing the work directly with the people, and showing them what a Christian is like. Now, that looked like a small motorcycle for Mike, but check this motorcycle out and what they got on this family's. They
had the whole family plus all their goods on there. Build a platform on top of the motorbike so they can carry more.
Yeah, I get nervous when like one other person gets on a bike with me, but those guys, they're experts.
Right.
And this is what it's like to go through that mountainous country on one of their motorbikes.
Actually, this is driving over a bridge
Yes.
on a motorbike.
You come down 29?
29
Oh, maybe Wednesday?
We have a manual spoon.
Need a spoon.
Maybe safer.
So there you saw the end result of their travels. They go, and here's a little group of believers that they're working with, and they're actually eating with them. So they're not eating in a fancy restaurant while the believers eat in their own houses. They're joining with them in their houses. And this is this is what Jesus did. And Jesus came to earth when there wasn't running water or internet or showers or anything like that. He came when it was more like what that is like.
Right.
And so it's a beautiful thing to see.
Okay, this next video that we have is a video of Mike talking about what he's learned about God during this process. And let's watch that.
He is either every bit alive today as he was in the days of Abraham, Isaac, Moses, or he's dead. Missions has taught me to trust God at His Word and then watch it in action. When I see or am faced with a problem in the mission, I can go to the Bible. We can, in prayer, claim Bible verses and see God fulfill those. And for me, that's been probably one of the biggest bonuses of doing this work for God, is knowing that God is not only a prayer hearing God, but He's a prayer answering God as well.
And this is a beautiful thing about the incarnational kind of ministry that they're doing. They don't have a regular salary that's given to them that's dependable every single month. So they actually do trust in God, and they pray for their survival and for the growth of their ministry in reaching other people, and their kids get to see this.
Right.
So it's not just theory.
Right.
They're engaged and they're dealing with real life situations, and they get to see God come through.
Right.
It's awesome.
And they have to. They have to connect with God because He's the only one that can communicate.
Right. Yeah, and you know, one thing I want to say, in the past, and a lot of times missionaries, they have gone overseas and they've brought as much of the Western lifestyle as they can. So they build a compound and they have a Western style house, and they have very little interaction with the local people. And that's one of the big reasons why, like for instance in China, there was so much sentiment against missionaries. It's because they saw missionaries as being super wealthy and really, you know, there's a lot of envy there. And so it's one of the reasons why they kicked him out.
So that's why Mike and Michelle are living like the people.
Right.
You know, they do their laundry like the people. They ride the bikes, you know, the motorbikes like the people.
Right.
And they eat with the people because they don't want there to be unnecessary barriers. You know,
Right.
there's already differences because they believe in cleanliness.
Yes.
And they don't eat the
So
things
they're there
that
to show
the
them
people eat.
a more hygienic way to live and a healthier way to
Healthier.
live. So they're
Right.
there to lift them up, but not like this.
Right.
They're more like this,
Right.
you know, and
Right.
calling them up to where people can go. And
Right.
they really reach people that way.
Right.
Yeah.
So this next video is kind of a fun one. It shows them crossing. Well, let's just watch the video.
Okay. That's probably on the way into town.
Could have been. Could have been.
Now, you think that's bad? Check this one out.
Okay.
Some guys carrying a motorbike across the stream. Now, you have to watch. Right here, you'll see a log. See that log? Went right by them. What if it hit that guy there? And it might have knocked him over, and the whole bike go in the drink. It's a dangerous type of thing, and it takes a lot of effort just to do the very basics that we kind of take for granted.
Right. Travel, going somewhere, going to town, going to the village next door is not a joke. It's
Yeah, it just makes me really proud to see the effort and the pain that these guys go through just to do the basic living, let alone reaching out to bring the gospel to people that haven't had access to it in any other way. It makes me proud to play just a little role. You know, we're here in America accepting the tax-deductible donations and then sending everything to them that we receive. And to do that little bit in what they're doing, it just makes me really proud.
it's something to be thankful for.
It's
to be
an
a
honor.
part of it. Yeah.
Yes, it's a big honor.
This is another little video showing travel issues.
Big mudslide, motorbike isn't going to make it up through there, so mommy and little boy has to get out and walk.
Yeah. So the next video we have is Mike talking about what keeps them there, why they stay even though it's challenging and difficult.
Yeah.
Jesus gave us a privilege, not only a marching order, but a privilege in Matthew 28 to go and to share the gospel. I think it's in 1 Peter where we're told by Paul that Jesus was made an example and suffered for our sakes, and that we should follow that example for others. And then of course James says that we should be more than just hearers of the word, but doers of the word. I'm not a lovely person, and I know that. And if God can give the grace that He's given to me, then the least I can do is give back. You know, you've heard the saying, those that love much, or those that have been forgiven much, love much. You know, I've been forgiven a whole bunch. And I owe the Lord a lot. I owe my life. And these people... you know, John, you and I we've seen goodness in America. We've seen goodness. Okay, we've been in nice houses. We've been in nice buildings where royalty was at. We've seen beautiful things here.
Yeah.
And now you look at these people who live in a moldy wooden shack in torrential weather, and you think. If they can get a taste of heaven, their reward is going to be so sweet, and I want to see their faces. You know what I mean? It's a motivator for me. It's a motivator. I want to see their faces.
So he wants to take them to heaven.
And that moment when they step into heaven and they see from where they've been in their little huts. I mean, it's one thing for us to imagine a mansion, but for them, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a moment That's a moment worth working for.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that's part of why I love Mike and Michelle's story, because they're so motivated by eternity.
Yes.
So here is a temporal blessing, sort of. It's a baptismal meeting, and so this is some of the fruit of their hard labor.
Yes. Isn't that amazing?
It's beautiful.
I don't know what it is, but every time I see a baptism, I just get a little choked up. It's
so
just
neat to think about people being washed clean
Yes.
by the blood of Jesus.
making that step, that
What it
commitment.
symbolizes. So we have a little video of Mike talking about what baptism means to him.
Yeah.
As of 3 weeks ago, I guess we came to the U.S. 3 weeks ago on furlough, and we had just had our last baptism for the year, and I think that put us over the 1,150 mark.
Amen.
Since 2008, by God's grace.
1,150 baptisms.
Awesome.
1,000 people.
That's
I heard
awesome.
a statistic just a couple of days ago that said that 85% of Christians that are born and raised in the church never share their faith with someone else.
Wow.
Never bring another soul to Christ. And here he's brought 1,150, he and his wife and their team. That's so exciting.
Yeah. That's
I can't
awesome.
wait to get to heaven too, to see these people.
To meet them, yeah.
Maybe some of them will become choir directors in heaven, you know?
Or something more.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe, it's just, I can't wait.
Okay, so here is a picture of a crippled man that wanted to be baptized. So they're carrying him down into the water so he
Yes.
could be baptized also.
Yes. Yeah, so here's Mike and Michelle with some of their friends that they might meet on the way to town. They're just out there motivated by the vision of the future, that day when these people meet Jesus, step into heaven. What a day that's going to be.
Yeah, it'll be beautiful.
Yes.
I'd like to invite you to please pray for Mike and Michelle Cordes of GoBeDo Missions as they live the gospel among these precious people. And please prayerfully consider how God may be asking you to help. You may send your tax-deductible love gift to Jesus for Asia, P.O. Box 1221, Collegedale, Tennessee, 37315. Call us at 423-413-7321 or check out our website at jesusforasia.org. Thank you for joining us for Jesus for Asia Now. May God richly bless you as we prepare for His soon coming.